backs. Think about it. Bo Nix and now Dylan Gabriel. We would expect that out of Lane Kiffin, not Dan Lanning. He's done a fantastic job.
Great stuff from Joe Lisi. Thank you to Coach James Young. Thank you to Darren Heitner and to my producer, Joe Frizo. Thank you for watching Inside the Transfer Portal. We'll see you next week.
Whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the Transfer Portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now. And you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. It's pain-free Friday for us, doling out minutes on the mahogany, waxing it up, 100, 200, the bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up shadooby, along with the OG, Carver High. We've got Mafia running it along with Luke Milha, the is coast to coast today on C2C. We've got Morency from Vancouver for a double shot. Elvis, there has been a sighting. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period and NHL radio on Sirius. I was listening to that driving this morning, Carver High, little NHL radio. Matt Laughlin on there styling.
Wow.
Also, Coach James Young, who should be coaching Chop down at the shore this weekend, but I don't think Chop brought her basketball gear. And Davis Maddock from Fantasy Sports Today. Everybody's down the shore. Mafia loves going down the shore. I know that. He's a big fan of that. Carver High, we've got updates from the Schwab in Fort Worth, Texas. I bet it's a little steamy down there. Who's leading that puppy? Yesterday it was a pack of wolves.
We still got a pretty good pack. And by the way, before I even get into this, I mean, didn't bring our basketball stuff. I mean, isn't hooping just the one game where it's like, just bring the sneakers over to the gym? I mean, what else do we need here?
I think she has her chucks. She might have her chucks on her.
Coach will set her up. I mean, get a workout in while we're down there. Jeez, make it happen. We do have still several names at the top of this board. There is actually a two-way tie for first right now, two guys in the clubhouse, and that is Keegan Bradley and Sunjay Im, who are both 6 under after finishing up their rounds this morning. Ryan Crazy Like a Fox, Tony Finau, Pearson Cootie, all at 5 under. Look
Who's
at
got
Gary
the
Woodland.
cooties?
Gary Woodland 2 shots off the lead, Scotty, at 4 under right now. So Gary getting involved. Yes, Brian Harmon, Zach Johnson, who everybody hates, is at 4 under as well. So you have a pretty good Davis Raleigh just went to 5 under too. So Scotty Scheffler shot 5 under today, got himself back to 3 under. So he's only 3 back, which means he'll probably win on Sunday. He's only 3 shots back, probably be 3 or 4 going into tomorrow, and he'll gain another 2 or 3, and then Sunday he'll just go and beat everybody. So there might not be much to watch at the Schwab on Sunday.
I'm actually sick and tired of talking about Scotty Scheffler and his legal problems and his golf game. And yesterday when you told me he had like a triple, I was excited that he was shooting poorly. I was excited for bettors. I'm interested in people making money, not in one guy winning every tournament. And, of course, he did not win the PGA Championship after his run-in with the lawman.
Well, I'm going to go after him this weekend. I'm going to probably add myself some Keegan Bradley tonight and see if we can get Keegan home, who's been very good to me in the past. So we might as well try again on that. So we have the golf that's going on live. We have no day ball. We have a full slate of baseball tonight that we will get to later on Coast to Coast. Everybody's playing on a Friday, including, Scotty, the Yankees starting a 3-stop trip out west to San Diego, Anaheim, and San Francisco over the next week and a half. Yankees late night games for you for the next week and a half. That's always fun.
Yeah, but listen, that is one of the great ballparks. I'm going to put PNC and Petco on my short list of best ballparks in the majors. As you know, I go there often to San Diego, and I hold the in-stadium record with 11 cups of soft serve ice cream, of Padre plastic helmet cups, of mixed cone soft serve vanilla chocolate twisty, 11 cups, still clearly the champ. The closest competitor at 7. It's like your boy, the hot dog king. I mean, that guy just never loses. I don't know his name. What's
Joey Chestnut? Joey Chestnut.
I got a story about that other guy.
Yes, the guy.
I'll hold off on that. I gotta hold off on that. We gotta hold
off on that. You gotta save that for the end. For the guy who's retiring. We have.
Spoiler report.
I didn't say who it is. I didn't say who it was.
The guy
said who it was. Celtics beat the Pacers last night. I guess the Pacers started to let go of the rope a little bit after almost winning in game number 1. They got torched in the second half. They got guys in. Really, like, not only did they lose the game, but they're dragging guys out of there like Halliburton hurt. That's a bad scene for them. I don't care that they're heading home. They got all kinds of problems now.
Well, without him, they are clearly in trouble. And as you know, anyone with a hammy, you can fool me once, fool me twice. It doesn't work. You saw what happened to Anunoby. He came out for 5 minutes. He looked like his leg had been cut off. You cannot play basketball with a pulled hamstring or a torn hamstring or a calf. It's that simple. They don't heal in 2 days. They are effed without him in the line. They don't play well without Halliburton in charge. And that's all there is to it. Obviously, TJ is going to get way more burn, but he can't shoot. So he can play. He can definitely play. He hustles and is all out. He's insane on the basketball court. I love his game, but it's a different thing altogether without a jumper. He has no J. So, and Halliburton can hit shots from everywhere, inside, outside, mid-range, deep. It doesn't matter. He can chuck. And he can shoot logo shots and make it. But McConnell can. He's so uncomfortable when he releases that J from his hand. He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot. And when he makes them, it's a miracle because it's so ugly, his J.
It is a miracle. They'll play Game 3 tomorrow night. We'll get into it later. Tonight we have a Game 2 in Minnesota for the Mavericks and the T-Wolves. Of course, the T-Wolves looking to get off the deck after losing Game 1 at home. I sure hope they got a little bit of a better effort from some of their big guys that they didn't get the other night. They could use a little more from Ant and Cat and the rest of them, Scotty, if they're going to even that series tonight.
Well, somebody's got to lose, right? And they lost, and it is what it is. And I think it's a little bit of an overreaction that they're finished because they lost Game 1. We've seen a lot of teams lose the first 2 games and go on to win series. The Pacers did it to the Knicks, so I don't want to hear it. Tonight is crucial, obviously. It's not a place they want to be going to Dallas down 2 with those 2 Luka and Kyrie in the backcourt. They're unstoppable. Both of them are absolutely unbelievable, and they will not be denied buckets. And I think, for my money's worth, anything over 25 from both of them in a combo meal is automatic W. You saw what happened when they went 33-30, automatic W. They won by 3, but they won. And so that's their problem. I think the T-Wolves have to deal with their issue at hand. It's that backcourt. The guy goes out, Kyrie, and has 24 in the first half, and then they held him to 6 in the second half, but it was too little too late. He already had 30. So they cannot let that happen if they want to be in this series. If you're going to let those 2 stars go off like that, you can write a check now that their season's over.
No doubt. And we've got the hockey as well. Everybody does have hockey. How about Connor McDavid last night? Takes that 4-minute double minor at the start of the overtime, ends up cashing in the first 30 seconds of the second overtime on the deflection. Huge win. Oilers go up 1-0 on the Stars. A Game 2 tonight at the Garden in New York City for the Panthers and the Rangers.
We told you that Bouchard and Hyman would have points in that game, and they did. Yeah. Bouchard with the pass that he deflected in for the winner early in the second overtime. Great win for the Oilers. Almost blew it, up 2-0, but they win it 3-2 and 2 outs. Great game last night.
Of NIL and the transfer portal, it is allowing players to develop further in college, and guys that would maybe be stuck on the bench at a power program and not have as much shine are having the ability to find themselves in the spotlight.
Lane Kiffin came out and said we need to get bigger and more physical in terms of the offensive defensive lines, and that's why he went out and recruited that talent.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. And it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's the BetMGM offer of the week. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. For all the games all season long. Come out swinging with picks and parlays and turn any game into a must-watch. Download the BetMGM app, and it's on.
So back with Morency, you got to catch Sports Rage. Late nights, weeknights at 10 Eastern till 1 in the morning, and a cast of characters always on this show. You can catch it on all of our TV platforms, OTTs, stations everywhere, and on the radio side on Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio in San Diego near Tijuana, do you wanna? And, of course, from Mexico to the Canadian Rockies all over the West Coast. Sports Byline USA and all their great affiliates, DPAC holding it down for us in the city by the bay. And on satellite radio all over the Southern Hemisphere on Sirius XM channel 159. That's Sports Rage, weeknights at 10, and you can watch it right here on the grid. So, Morency, yesterday we talked about on this show Connor McDavid and how, and you've seen him up close and personal, and I said that all the greats, and I went through a litany of names from Messier to Kane to Yzerman to Yager and Lemieux and Crosby, and I just kept going on and on with the greats, Bossy, Billy Smith. It just never ends with great players that have won the Stanley Cup. The greatest players ever in the NHL's history have all won the Stanley Cup, and this guy has to win a Stanley Cup. I am not giving him, he's the greatest player in the world without that cup, and he can smell it now. I mean, there's I think, what are they, 7 wins away from a Stanley Cup, and it was a huge win last night and a huge goal by him. Do you think he can get it done and bring the cup back to Canada?
Well, look, there's some players. I think if you don't win a championship thing is a little bit overdone in the modern era. This is where we're at right now. Well, unless he's won, and different sports are different, but you can't dispute it. If you want to be amongst, you can be a great player, you can be a Hall of Famer, but if you want to be amongst the all-time greats, you need to at least win once along the way.
Win it.
And with all due respect to a lot of these players we're going to talk about, Connor McDavid is better than they are. So you would argue basically Connor McDavid is the best hockey player ever not to win a Stanley Cup. And he's not retired yet. If you look back at the list, Scott, it used to be Marcel Dion was like the biggest victim. All right. Marcel was a great player. Like Connor McDavid's better than he was. All right. Let's just be real. Jerome McGinley, great player. Didn't win a Stanley Cup. Matt Sundin, great player. Didn't win a Stanley Cup. There's been a few of them, like some really good players who didn't win. We should note those players. Hockey's a little different, Scott, like Henrik Lundqvist. Great goalie, one of the best goalies ever. Didn't win a Stanley Cup. Can't hold that against him. He won a gold medal with Sweden, and these guys take that as seriously. So, that's like Carey Price won a gold medal with Canada. That's his championship there. But the difference is with some of these other players is they weren't on good teams. It's not Marcel Dion's fault the Kings sucked in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Some guys were just in bad spots. Connor McDavid's not in a bad spot, Scott. And it's not a deal where you could say, well, he needs help. Other people need to do more. The Edmonton Oilers are a loaded and stacked hockey team, Scott.
Right.
So you got Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl's an effing MVP, bro. That would be the best player on any other team that he's on. He's an MVP. Bouchard is a stud. Evander Kane is a stud. Zach Hyman scored 54 goals this year or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's just McDavid. No, they're loaded. And I said, Scott, if they get goaltending, I know you liked Edmonton yesterday too. Bro, if Skinner's going to play well, Edmonton can win the series, point blank. He's like the weak link. If he's not the weak link and he plays like he did last night, Edmonton will beat the Dallas Stars.
So let me ask you, you saw it. and I've watched it, but I want to know what it's like being there. So, like, do you remember when I told you when I went with the Prime Minister to watch the Leafs, and I said watching that power play live is different than watching it on TV? What is it like live watching the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill that has killed off 37 of 40 power plays from opposing teams in the playoffs? I have never seen, like on TV, anything like their quickness to the puck. The other team's power play with a man advantage can't even set up at the point or on the wing at all without a guy so far up there, keister, it's not even funny. They are all over the puck. It is a thing of beauty. If you play that well on PK, you can win the Stanley Cup just even with that.
That was something I was very impressed with about the Oilers when I saw them up close as well, and I told people about that. I said, they do the little things a lot better than people talk about. Like they're not the Leafs, bro. They're not like, oh God, like like Matthews better get a hat trick. No, like they've got 4 lines. They're physical. They're big. The Oilers have a couple of pretty big dudes. They got mean streaks in them. The Oiler players have failed before in the playoffs. They're starting to understand. You've got to be the bigger jerk than the other player. That's the way it works in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Right. If not, you're getting pushed out of the way. That's the way that it works. And then they'll shake your hand after and tell you great series. But you got to do the dirty things and doesn't mean like stupid things, but there's an edge that you need to play with. The Oilers have that edge. They play on the edge of dirtiness. They're aggressive. Their defense is like really impressive, Scott, because they can score. But as you stated, they're doing a great job on the penalty kill. It is their team speed as well. They close gaps so fast. Like you said, you can't set up because they get to the point right away. They're super, super fast team. Still a lot of hockey left in this series, but the Oilers, maybe this is the year that they finally get there. And I think if Connor McDavid does get to the Cup, they're going to break through and win. I think if they win this series, the Oilers are winning the Cup.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. And I got to tell you, that PK of theirs is something else. It's the best left standing of these teams. And when we come back, we'll talk about the Panthers and Rangers game tonight here in New York City with Morency of SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
We're talking to Morency from Sports Rage late night. Catch it every weeknight at 10 Eastern, and you won't be disappointed. So the Rangers have their backs to the wall any way you slice it tonight at the world's most famous down one shutout. Bobrovsky killed them. 12 shots on goal through 2 periods for the Rangers is not cutting the mustard. You think they should put Matt Rempe into the lineup, inject some, rowdy, some toughness, some physicality, maybe a fight that'll, lure the other guy out into the box as well. Get the fired up fans, lit. Get that building rocking, because they were sitting on their hands the other night when they were getting their ass shut down by the Panthers.
Matt Remke can play. He can skate. If he was just solely an enforcer, or if he was just solely a jarhead, there's no point in having him on the ice in a playoff game. But the kid can skate. He can hold his own, and he will bring some energy to the building. And listen, man, the kid is 7 feet tall on skates. All right, he's 6'8" off his skates. So you put him on skates, and he's a freaking monster, big kid, and the Panthers are good at sort of baiting you into their game. You know what I'm saying? I remember Scott just talking about the Oilers, in the corners and stuff. The Panthers are kings of this. They know the tricks. A little butt in the stomach, in the gut, bro, in the corner. The little things that the refs can't see and know. Little comments, smack talk, and like a Chuck. He feeds off that stuff. All right, okay, let's go. Kachuk, you like beating up Pasternak, or do you let's fight the 7-foot kid? Let's see what happens. Maybe he'll break your hand too, right? If I'm the Rangers, you got to push back. You got to. The Panthers are bullies, all right. The Panthers are one of the biggest bully teams in the NHL. That's how the Vegas Golden Knights beat them last year, and they know this. So they're like, all right, we're going to be the bullies from now on. We're taking your lunch money. We're going to New York, and we're taking your lunch money. So I think Matt Rempe's a nice. Rempe's not the decider of the game, but he will bring some energy, and he does bring size, and he can crash and bang in the corners. He can cycle the puck for you a little bit. The kid can play hockey. That's what I'm getting at. He's not just like a goon. I trust him enough to give him 9 minutes tonight. He should be in the lineup, in my opinion. As far as the game from a betting perspective, I think it's a low-scoring game, Scott. I think we have a battle of these goaltenders, which Shesterkin knows I've got to be amazing. I've really, I've got to give up no goals, 1 goal to give this team a chance to win. The Rangers' lack of depth is a problem. The fact that they feast on special teams so much is a problem for them. Less penalties are called, guys, as we advance in the playoffs. If you're going to try to just live on your power play, it's going to catch up to you. You got to be able to score 5-on-5. Carolina owned the Rangers 5-on-5, right? The Rangers, you're not playing the Capitals anymore, guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be a bunch of penalties in the conference finals. So I think goals are going to be tough to come by tonight. I love the under 5.5 tonight.
So you said to me in the break, they got to get more from Lafreniere. This Panther team has got
can't just
all
be
these
Kreider,
guys,
Scott. It can't just be Kreider.
Montour. They have, Kachuk. They have so many guys that produce. And the Rangers have equally as many good, talented players. Panarin, Zibanejad, Lafreniere, but they got it. And Kreider, they all have to step up.
Yeah, Panarin is a guy that really needs to step up. And, this physical play isn't really in his wheelhouse right now. It's only been 1 game, and it's not as though the Panthers dominated offensively either. Okay, in this hockey game, there was an own goal. It fell apart late for the Rangers. But I'm expecting a very similar game tonight. I wouldn't shock me if we went to overtime tonight. 3-2 is such a common score in the NHL and the NHL playoffs. We saw it last night. Wouldn't shock me if it was a 3-2 game tonight, but I'm not even sure we get to 5 goals. I think it's 2-1, maybe 3-1 when somebody scores an empty netter, Scott. Maybe it's 2-2 going to overtime tonight. But I'm betting the under. That's my best bet for this hockey game.
Who do you like in the Dallas Game 2 at the T-Wolves tonight at the Target Center?
It's almost an automatic zigzag, isn't it? But I heard you talking earlier about Luka and Kyrie. These two are dialed in right now, man. They're in a zone. They have more postseason experience, even though the T-Wolves have some older guys, some of them. It's very lethal. Anthony Edwards heavy offensively. Like you said, you're going to have to outscore these two because they're bringing it. And if you got anything with Washington and Lively and these other dudes, then you're not going to beat them. I think the tide is turned. I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals, Scott. I'm taking the 5 points tonight.
Yeah,
maybe the T-Wolves would.
Imagine those two backcourts against each other coming up in the NBA Finals.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in two, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Well, Carver High, my favorite subject, the Boston Celtics. Boy, I can't wait every day to spend as much time as possible with you on C2C talking about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and company. Can't get enough of it. And I told you my alarm clock now in my house is JB43. It goes off at 5 in the morning when I go to play basketball. I hate that dude. I don't even know who he is. I hate him dead. Like, more than anyone on earth, I hate that dude. I don't even know who he is.
The hope is, at least I'm hoping, that whoever wins the West is going to give them a hell of a lot more push than all these teams in the East are going to end up giving them, because they really haven't gotten much resistance. Obviously, in Game 1, they got a little bit, but with Halliburton getting hurt and now being 2-0 going back to Indiana, I just don't see a lot of distance in this series, Scotty. 126 to 110 was the final last night. 2-0 series lead for Boston. As you mentioned, JB for 3. Jaylen Brown dropped 40 in game number 2. A bunch of buckets on his way to get there on ESPN.
Brown comes up with a steal. Bad pass from Siakam. Here's Brown. Goes up, foul from behind. Counted at one. Not a smart play from Siakam. And then in the second quarter, Celtics scored the first 17 points of the period. Brown knocks it down. He's got 40.
So I'm thinking, listen, I'm not stupid. I know how good he is. He's got all kinds of attack game. He attacks the 10. He can shoot from outside. He can dribble drive, finish, dunk, reverses. He has every trick in the bag known to man. The one thing that I'll stand by again, he's 14 of 27 from the floor, 4 of 10 from 3, 8 of 11 from the line because he gets a lot of fouls. is is two dimes. I've said it over and over, and I'm going to say it today. The reason why he wasn't all NBA is because all he does is score. He doesn't, in my view, do anything else. He doesn't pass the ball. He had a pass last night, and you would have thought Doris had just had an affair, honestly. Like, she got so excited that he had a pass to one of his teammates. Oh, look at him finding his teammates. I'm like, that hasn't happened since November, this guy having a pass to a teammate. He doesn't pass. All he does is shoot. Every time he gets the ball, he attacks and scores. And I don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of guys that play that game, and I play with some of them, that just flat out see no one, and they go to the hole because that's what they see, baskets, and they get them. That's who he is. I don't think he sees anybody. He got all that money because he scores. But I know he's crying about not being all NBA, and I think guys that are all NBA do everything. They rebound, they pass, they play defense, they play a full court game. I think he just scores. That's just my opinion of him. I think he's a phenomenal scorer, and I'll leave it at that. And you already know I can't stand that team. So, I don't disrespect talent. I know a talented player when I see one, and they got plenty of them on that team. They're very deep. He's a great player. I just don't like the fact that he doesn't do anything else. And I have no problem leaving him off all NBA, all three teams, because all he does is score. That's it. That's his whole game. One thing. Can you imagine making $350 million because you can score? Christ, where do I sign up for that? Like, I like getting rebounds, blocking shots, setting screens, having a steal, fouling 5 times hard. I like fouling people and letting them know where I stand. And, I'm dirty. But he doesn't do any of that. He just scores. That's all he does is score.
He just scores. And I did see a lot of the Boston media types last night saying that his 40-point performance, chip on his shoulder from not being named to the All-NBA team, and this is why this was his response. And he said, I don't care about that. He's got all kinds of problems with the media. I mean, I guess he's got like you said, a chip on his shoulder from not being named to the team.
Of course he cares. He's lying.
Talking about blocking out all the. They've had so much noise, Scotty, as they've obliterated everyone through the first 2.5 rounds of the playoffs. He's been blocking out so much noise.
They're just focused. Suffering. Oh, they're suffering.
It's a blessing to step out on the floor each and every night. I don't take that for granted. So I keep that in perspective, regardless of what's being said or whatever the narrative or the discourse is around me. I just come out and try to add value on both sides of the floor.
And I feel
all
like, of his lines.
When it comes to that, there's not a lot of people better in this league. So I just come out and take it one game at a time. And right now we got 2 home games, and we're looking for the next one.
Let me tell you something. When you make as much money as this guy makes, I wouldn't even respond or answer questions about anything about all NBA snubs or this or that or how blessed you are to be able to go out and play every night. When you make that much money, honestly, he makes more money than anyone in the NBA. He's the highest paid player in the league now. And he scores 40. I mean, there's your dinner right there. I should be able to score 40 and make that kind of money, that bag, and then go home and get some leg. For sure.
Nothing wrong with that. Going home, getting a little leg, that's for sure. You're right there. Here is Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle. So the Pacers go home after losing the first 2 games on the road. He says, we've already done that once in this playoffs against the Knicks. We can do that again. Here's Rick.
Well, in the New York series, we were down 0-2 and came home and were able to win Game 3 and then move along and do what we wanted to do. For us right now, we've got to concentrate on getting back as quickly as we can tonight and preparing ourselves for our best possible effort on Saturday night. And I know that our building will be as loud and live as it's ever been. It's race weekend and everything else going on. Ooh. And so we've got to take advantage of that. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it will be a better environment for us than playing here for sure.
Speaking of things that people don't care about anymore, I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that in the basket as well.
I was going to tell you,
the Indianapolis 500.
I think like Luke told me before we started. Oh, that's this weekend? Oh yeah, that's right. It's Memorial Day weekend. I forgot they have the race.
And what?
This weekend.
The Charlotte 600. Like, oh boy, can't wait for that. I had Fox on today for some reason, and I looked and they had like some truck race on, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'd rather watch the Dana Bash on CNN, listen to her complain about Donald Trump than watch a truck race. Christ almighty. I mean, what is next? Motorcycle racing? Honestly, I don't care what anybody says. So here's the deal. They played a team that was crippled. Literally the MASH unit, Knicks. They had no players healthy. Not one on the entire team. I mean, Brunson basically, his hand broke in Game 7. His hand was already broke, in my opinion. Have you ever seen a guy play with that much tape on his hand for the entire playoff series? He had broken fingers, hands, sprained hands, everything. Every guy on that team was crippled. The Pacers beat them because they were crippled. The Pacers cannot beat this team because they are the best team, and they are healthy, and they are deep and loaded, and they are kicking their ass 6 ways till Sunday. I will not be surprised at all if they sweep them. And I believe there's nothing I want more than the Pacers to win. Without Halliburton, I mean, honestly, I'm smelling like I used to tell you, fresh meat, man. They are smelling blood like an animal. And like the bear smells your picnic in the woods when you're camping. It's coming, that nasty bear. Believe me, they smell blood because Halliburton's out. And they take advantage of teams as it is, let alone if you're shorthanded.
Yeah, they do not know the status yet of him. He's got a hamstring injury, obviously.
I know the status.
And he had x-rays on his chest. I agree with you. I know the status of it, too. I would be stunned if he played tomorrow night in game number 3.
Even
stunned.
Mike, listen, time out. Even if he plays, he's not fooling me. He's 60%. He's nothing compared to when he's healthy.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Hendrick ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Wow, I'll tell you, the BetMGM 300 is at 1 Eastern tomorrow in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. BetMGM players will receive a bet insurance token to apply to any bet on the BetMGM 300 wager. Receive up to $25 in bonus bets if that bet loses. Go to the BetMGM app or BetMGM.com for more details. At least it's not a truck race, Carver High. I think the Xfinity is actually a race car race. So my interest is peaking immediately for this. If it is a truck race, which I'm not certain anymore.
It's not.
I think it's a car race. I turned off the truck race today. I refuse to not watch the BetMGM Xfinity Series 300. I'm excited for that race tomorrow at 1 o'clock. In fact, I'm going to be on with Coach, and we're doing Betting Above the Rim. I'm going to talk about that race the entire show just to see if everyone gets excited about it, because the basketball game's on at nighttime. So why not talk about the BetMGM 300, Carver High? I think you should make a bet right now on it. Although I do want to say one thing to you, Carver High, before we get going here. As you know, I'm going to see Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, Ronnie Wood, and the Rolling Stones on Sunday. And Mafia has put an over-under up on whether or not Mick Jagger will still be standing at the end of that show, the second show in New York at Snoopy. They played last night there. Our good friend High Heat went to the concert and said it was phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Stones. That will be my 31st Rolling Stones show. And now they lead Metallica 31-30 after Sunday. So I've seen those two bands over 60 times. And I think, see Mick Jagger and Keith Richards for the last time. There's no way. I mean, these guys are 80. How many times can they do this? Like, what are they going to come back in 5 years and do the 85 dial-up tour? I can't see it happening much longer, but I've heard great things about the Hackney Diamonds tour. I'm going to see the Stones, Carver High. After betting above the rim on Sunday, I'm heading over to Snoopy to throw down with 34C and get my swerve on in the pit.
I mean, it's got to end at some point, right? I mean, eventually it's got to end at some point. They keep going, though. They keep trucking along. That's good. You got that on the docket for Sunday night. That'll be a good night for you. So you will miss, like you said, that Dallas Game 3. I bet you wish you were going to miss one of these Celtic Pacer games instead.
More so.
While you were at the Rolling Stone game. There's a good chance we could come back from the holiday weekend and it'll be over. I think Game 4 is Monday night, Memorial Day night, and the Pacers will be washed away by them. It is 6.5 tomorrow night for Game 3. 222.5 is the total. I'm done with this guy. I'm not jumping in the pool with Indiana anymore. I'm just going with the over.
Yeah, I've had enough of it, honestly. Like, I can barely sit here and talk about it. I'm so sick and tired of them. Honestly, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm at the end of my rope. I'm watching hockey, okay?
Them losing that game ruined the series. Them blowing that first game destroyed everything. It just completely – it took all the gas out because you knew they were going to get smashed and let go of the rope in Game 2, and that's precisely what happened to them. And now the series is like –
They had it right where they wanted them.
It's at most 5, and I needed them to win 2 games for that plus 2.5 games, and they're going to screw me on it. If you think they can actually win this series, 30-1 for that. If you think that can actually happen, God bless and good luck if you believe that.
That's a lot of money to bet to win nothing. The Boston Celtics, $10,000. I got to bet, huh?
What would you rather? What would you
win
rather throw?
$100.
What would you rather throw $10 on right now? The Pacers to come back down 2-0, or Bronny to be the top pick in the draft? Which one do you want to waste your $10
bet on the BetMGM Xfinity 300.
Yeah, that's a better call too. Or you get the golf going as well. There it is. There it is. So get back in there.
Up to 25 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. Yeah. I'm going to bet 10 on that. I don't even know any of the race car drivers' names. I'm still going to bet on it. I love that BetMGM 300.
That's probably the better option than the other two that I just gave you.
BetMGM has they're giving away a slot machine for the winner of the, I think, Charlotte 600. Isn't that
really
the race on Memorial Day?
That would be I think it's the Coca-Cola 600.
Whatever. Whatever it is. They should call it the Bacardi and Coke 600 with a little lick of lime. All I know is they're giving away a gigantic BetMGM slot machine to the winning driver, which is, if you ask me, it's way better than spraying champagne on people. Can you imagine having a big-ass slot machine? I used to have a slot machine in my house. I think I still have it here somewhere, the slot machine, but it just ran out of its luster. I stopped
instead of watching the race, could we get those two guys who were brawling in the pit last week? Could we get them on
Kurt
the main
Busch
stage instead?
or Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, whatever Busch,
Stenhouse.
and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Can we just get them in one of those boxing matches? We'll set that up in the middle of the infield.
I'm just glad I knew their names when you said there was a fight, that I knew there was a NASCAR fight. Like, here's me in NASCAR. I've been to 50 races, and I've never watched one lap. I just got hammered in the infield and chased women.
They get the big attention when they get a fight like that. That's when everybody suddenly realizes, oh, wow, NASCAR. Here you go.
As you know, I knocked up 34C at the Talladega 500 in the infield, so I have had a child. I did get my wife pregnant at a NASCAR race, which she will never live down.
You will always have a special connection to that sport, NASCAR. You'll have a special connection to that.
And Waldo. We shaved Waldo's back with a number 2 at a Homestead.
We will come back and start to get into Game 2 tonight in Minneapolis. Mavericks and the Timberwolves. Timberwolves looking to get the series 1-1. As we come back, we will do that. We got Chris Finch, Jason Kidd, and the whole crew to talk about the game.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Hendrick ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Driver High just voted on the worst thing that's happened to me in 2024, as opposed to 23 when I had open heart surgery. That topped the cake. But this year, a clear distance between itself and any other event was the taking of the SportsGrid university classes that they're now making me take to work here. Going to the classroom to learn about proper etiquette based on my past behaviors and indiscretions. And you end up having to go to the SportsGrid University when you have the red phone ring over 250 times, which I've had over 372 times. So I had to go to school at SportsGrid, and I did very well. I got a 4.0. Very excited.
Nice job.
When I got my degree, I sent it back to my bosses, and I got to tell you, what a thrill for me and what an honor to be able to be that sophisticated in my education at this point in my career when I'm so crusty and old and fat that I'm still a 20-year-old at heart with all the, beginning of your career testing that I do around here. Fantastic stuff. Can't get enough. Where do I sign up for more?
Well done, indeed.
Thank
well
you.
done, as they say. Let's start tonight, Timberwolves and the Mavericks, game number 2, West Finals in the NBA. And we'll start with Minnesota head coach Chris Finch. Why? He doesn't seem like he was very thrilled with the effort that his team put forth in game number 1. Here is Chris.
Been just disappointed in your effort, your performance, your attitude, your application, your attention to detail. Just wasn't there. Western Conference Finals started. I'm not sure if they got the memo. But they got it this afternoon.
The Buffy going since the knee.
Yeah,
blew
our
out.
approach, we just played flat. Game plan was not on point for execution. Decision making on offense was not very good. Got beat by a lot of hustle plays, transition, offensive rebounds, stuff like that. It just can't happen.
Wow, that was really boring. He doesn't even matter. He's not the coach anymore, sitting behind the bench with his knee brace on. They got to go with your boy Miko.
Your boy Miko's now in the mix there. Here is Jason Kidd.
He's got an interview with the Lakers.
He got an interview with who doesn't? Who doesn't have an interview with the Lakers at this point? That coach
James Borrego.
Here is Jay Borrego. Come on. Jason Kidd knows they held Anthony Edwards down to 18 points in game number 1. He's going to try to do that again, knows he's going to be better.
Yeah, I think for us it's a matter of showing as many bodies, again, making it tough. He's one of the best players in the world. You're not going to stop him. You can just make it tough on him and hope that he misses. We expect him in game 2 to attack early and often. We got to try to protect the paint. They shot, a lot of threes. They were hot early. I thought for us to stay together in that second half to protect the paint. Again, it's tough when you've got Cat and those guys who can put it on the floor and get to the rim. But again, we believe that Ant's going to come. Conley's going to, come. That they're going to be better in game 2. So we have to expect that.
Yeah, they're not afraid of Mike Conley. I love Conley's game. I think he's smart. I think he handles the rock, gets the ball where it needs to be. I think that Jason Kidd and all of the Dallas staff also had to go through educational training after Mark Cuban let his office run amok a little bit a couple of years ago. Now they all have to go to the Dallas Mavericks university classes. And it's good for society, good for humanity, good for people and character building.
Yeah, it's team building exercise that they have going for you there. Nothing wrong with that. Game number 2 coming up tonight. So it was 4.5 in game 1. How about 5.5 in game number 2? 5.5 and 207.5 is the total. All 3 conference final games have gone over so far, Scotty.
Yeah, why not go over again tonight? I tried to go under last night. They were only over by 26 points, whatever it was. I mean, so I'm not going under the bridge. Also a good show on Hulu, Under the Bridge, getting rave reviews. But I will say, I'll go with you on the over. I don't know. They have to win tonight. You would think that they would cover that 5.5 piece. They have to win. I mean, they cannot lose this game. But I just think Luka and Kyrie are so tough, you can't give them 5.5 points. But like an idiot, I'd lay it and go over.